Once two friends, Ashwini and Chakravarti, started for Devbhog to see Nagmahashaya. Ashwini had a colic pain used to come on regularly every evening. The whole night he would remain almost senseless from its effect. On this occasion, the two friends could not reach the place before evening, and they passed every moment anxiously lest Ashwini should get the attack on the way. But through the will of the Lord, they came to Devbhog without any difficulty. Chakravarti was indeed much relieved when Ashwini informed him that there was no more fear of any attack that night, for the usual time had already passed away. For the previous 5 months, Ashwini had not been able to take even a drop of water at night, but that night he took rest comfortably after a hearty meal. They lived there for 3 days without Ashwini getting any colic attack in the evening. Referring to this, Ashwini laments now, "Ah, even that cruel disease of mine, which was the effect of some misdeeds of my prior lives, wore off under the influence of that holy man. Oh, had I clung to him from that time, my life and character would have been molded to perfection." Once a Brahmin boy was attacked with smallpox. Hopeless of his life, his widowed mother left him at the door of Nagmahashaya when life was almost extinct. The boy got cured through the grace of God. When Suresh asked Nagmahashaya how the cure was effected, he said it was true that the boy was cured, but he could not or would not say how. Once in a summer, a neighboring house situated to the north of Nagmahashaya's thatched cottage caught fire, which began to rage fiercely, threatening the neighborhood. The house on fire was only about 30 cubits distant from Nagmahashaya's. Sparks from the flame began to fall on all sides. Great confusion prevailed. Everyone was busy in trying to extinguish the fire, but Nagmahashaya stood quietly before the huge flame with folded palm, totally unconscious of danger. His wife got nervous and, afraid of imminent danger to their house, hurriedly began to take out clothes, quilts, and other movable things. At this, Nagmahashaya cried out, "What a great fool and skeptic you are still! What will you do with these trifles? Brahma has been pleased to come near your very house today, and instead of offering worship to him, you are troubling yourself with these paltry little things." Then he clapped his hands and began to dance about in ecstasy of joy, uttering, "Glory to the Lord! Glory to the Lord! If there is God to protect man, what danger is there for him? But if he be displeased, there is no power on earth that can save him." The hunger of the god of fire was appeased, having reduced the house of the neighbor to ashes, but the house of Nagmahashaya remained unscathed. On the occasion of Ardhodaya Yoga, which came about this time, Nagmahashaya came away from Calcutta some 3 or 4 days before the auspicious day. At this, his father, Deendayal, got angry with him and said, "I can't understand what peculiar kind of religion you profess to observe. Is this the proof of your pity that while people at large are rushing for a bath in the holy Ganges, you have come away from Calcutta, from the holy banks of the river to your home? There is still time enough to take me also to Calcutta. Nagmahashaya replied, if anybody has true and sincere devotion for her, Mother Ganga herself will come to his house. He has not to go anywhere else. The auspicious day came off. Srimati Harakamini, Kailash Bose and some other devotees of Nagmahashaya were present at Deobhog on that occasion. Exactly at the time when the eclipse was to take place, Harakamini was struck with awe and wonder to find that the northeast corner of Nagmahashaya's courtyard had cracked, and through the services a stream of water was gushing out, overflowing the yard and filling the place with its murmuring sound. Nagmahashaya was then inside the room. He came out and prostrated himself before the spring, crying, Mother Ganga, hail benign Mother, thou purifier of all sins. He took some water and with greatest reverence put it on his head and bowed again. The inmates of the house then took their bath in that water. As the news spread, crowds from the locality gathered there to take their bath. The premises of Nagmahashaya echoed with the cry of Hail Mother Ganga. An hour later the rush of water diminished and the stream gradually subsided. There are persons still living at Deobhog who bear testimony to the above fact. Srimati Harakamini was completely cured of a chronic malady by the touch of that holy water. Never in life did Nagmahashaya even incidentally make mention of this event. If ever questioned about the happening, he would simply say, alas, people make much of such trifles. Swami Vivekananda, when told of the incident, remarked, there is nothing impossible for the will of such great saints. Men may even attain perfect salvation through the effective force of their strong will. In every occurrence of his life, Nagmahashaya saw the benign hand of Sri Ramakrishna. Once while he was asleep, a big cat jumped on his face and scratched the left eye. He was painfully injured, but he did not seem to take much care of it and said, Sri Ramakrishna himself punished me in the form of a cat for the sins of my past births. Oh, this is also certainly his grace. But the sore got healed without much medication. To him, everything was Sri Ramakrishna. The spirit of Sri Ramakrishna pervaded the whole universe. While living in Calcutta, he once suffered from some severe pain in both of his hands. He could not even move them, and unless he placed them in a folded posture, motionless, he got excruciating pain. So he said that the Master made him suffer from this kind of pain in order that he might learn to remain always with folded palms. When he was suffering from severe colic pain, he was heard to say, Hail Ramakrishna, glory to thee. As I could not devote wholeheartedly this wretched cage of bones and flesh to thy holy cause, it is meet that thou shouldst punish it with such severe pain. Thou art showing thy mercy by making me suffer from this pain, for it reminds me only of thee. Blessed indeed is this misery, for it reminds me of Sri Ramakrishna. O Lord, glory unto thee, glory unto thy grace. It is thy mercy and thy mercy alone. There is no other means of salvation for a man except thy boundless grace. Nagmahashaya never took the attitude of a teacher. If he was asked to teach, he would say, "None can teach others." In due time, the spiritual eye of man opens by itself through the grace of Sri Ramakrishna. And then, whatever the eye lights upon manifests Sri Ramakrishna. He finds then everything tinged with a new meaning. But whenever he found his devotees despondent, he cheered them up, saying, "When you have acquired faith in Ramakrishna, know that this is your last birth. If a man has true and sincere faith in the Lord, he never swerves from the right path. He attains dharma, artha, kama and moksha." Girish Chandra Ghosh used to remark with his characteristic humor, "Mahamaya fell into a great difficulty in trying to ensnare two persons, Naren and Nagmahashaya. As she tried to capture Naren, he became bigger and bigger, at last so big that all her fetters fell short and she had to give up her task as hopeless. And when she attempted her trick on Nagmahashaya, he began to make himself smaller and smaller, and at last reduced himself to such a degree of smallness that he easily escaped through the meshes of her snares.